So back in 2006, I went to Bhangra Idols, and I saw Vibe on stage. And I came home and I was like, you know what, I need to do that. I need to be on that stage. I didn't know anything about Bhangra. I didn't know how to dance. But what I did know was that I needed team members. So I just came home, I made a general flyer which just said, who's ever interested in dancing. I put those up at one of our local colleges, and before I knew it, I had like a good 3-4 calls from people who wanted to also be on a Bhangra team. So then we got together and we just put out flyers everywhere. At all the universities, all the colleges, all Indian stores, on people's windshields, at the Gurdwara, everything. And we got the team together. And then from we didn't know where to start and what to do, so we used to practice in my backyard or in one of the other girls who used to be on the team, her driveway. I think coaching 3 different teams would be hard for anyone. It keeps me on my toes, especially when I've had the guys and girls competing at the same time. It's always been extremely tough because there's been times when I'm going to like double practices on the same day. But I make it work. In 2006, I believe when we started, I was the only female who was a coach of an all-guys team. And I think even now, like 6 years later, from like what I've heard, or I think I am still the only female who has ever coached an all-guys team. And it's been tough. There's obviously pros and cons to it. The challenges have always been just that respect. It's really, really, really hard as a female to acquire the respect of guys in something which is so male dominated. I remember it was Bulldog 2007. And it was the guy's first competition, and we were backstage, and when he went up to one of the guys and asked, like, who's your coach, or like, who's the captain, or whatever, and they pointed towards me, and I remember kind of like the look on his face, like he kind of stood there for about like, 2-3 seconds, kind of like taking it in, that like, but she's a girl, like, what do you mean, like, she's a coach, she can't tell you how guys are supposed to do Bhangra, like that sort of thing, but it worked and I did it, and I'm glad because I still speak to that coach now, and he's always given me like confidence and support in like what I'm doing, and it's been successful. And once again, like, I totally thank my guys for that. And actually, like, any other girl who possibly thinks that, she wants to start an all-guys team instead of an all-girls team or a co-ed team, like, all power to you. It's really tough at the beginning, but don't just back away from it just because you're a girl and you think that you can't coach guys and that you can't teach them how to do Bhangra because only a guy can teach a guy how. Like, it's not like that. So why coaching? I danced. I did my fair share of competitions, especially at the beginning when PANJ was co-ed, and I've done my melas and the gigs and all of that, but it was just the way things just worked out. I think it just worked out for everyone's benefit because now I've been able to kind of take a step back and just help the team out more. Well, I feel like that some dancers who are also coaches have to juggle both, and it's also great to have a team where we've had like awards of best dancers go out to I think 4 of our dancers now, and to kind of know that they all come from like PANJ dancers who like I've taught or who like we've taught, like we've all kind of come together and like produce like these dancers, and just to kind of sit back and like watch all of that happen. Like it's great to know that you were possibly like the backbone of that. Bhangra is it's a traditional dance. It's a traditional dance. All of us know that it started with males. It's a male-dominated dance, and depending on the competition that you go to, a lot of the judging is done by like uncles, and when it's done by people of that generation, they just automatically, just the way that they process Bhangra, they're going to compare the way that you're doing moves compared to the way a guy's doing moves. So one thing I've always pushed with PANJ girls is our execution. To make sure that just because you're a girl doesn't mean that your jugni shouldn't be as low. Doesn't mean that your back gun, you shouldn't hit them as hard. If anything, like, you should go lower and hit them harder than a guy does. Just because to have that respect from judges, to have that respect from the community, sometimes to even have that respect from your fellow dancers, you need to make sure that you can execute Bhangra just the way a guy can execute it, if not better. One of the challenges that we've always faced has been always being short a dancer. Somehow, just the way that things end up working with PANJ is that we're always short a dancer. Every single competition, or 8 out of 10 of the competitions that we've done, we've always been short a dancer. But at the same time, we're really lucky to be in Vancouver or in Surrey, where a lot of teams share a lot of dancers. Like, just off of our own team, we have lent out dancers to PCAC, we've lent out dancers to BC Cultural, to B2B, to Shane, and to AVA. And then so in return, whenever we've needed dancers, we've been able to borrow them from teams. But in Vancouver, it's like a norm. Everyone kind of shares dancers here. Another challenge that we faced was about 1.5 years or 2 years ago, we were just getting a lot of criticism. It was a really tough time for PANJ, and for us to pull through that, that was a great accomplishment, and I'm glad our team could come together and do that. And in times like that, where I was just really thankful that I had like other people that were kind of there to keep us going when we wanted to throw the towel in. And most people know this, but I give a lot of credit to SUPD, and I give a lot of credit to Vic. Anytime we have come across any challenges at all, they've always been the first ones to step up and be like, hey, like, PANJ Bhangra, or hey, Harkiran HK, like, how can we help you out? My advice to new teams starting up, my first piece of advice, and I think it's one of the most important, is to make sure that you have a dedicated and loyal core group of dancers. It's different to come onto a team which has already been established, or someone has already put that work into establishing the team, but to come onto a team which needs to establish itself is a lot of hard work. My second piece of advice is, as cheesy as it may sound, but to not give up. You will come across so many criticisms. There's going to be a lot of people saying that you suck and BTF's going to be on your back, and you might have to go through 10 competitions without placing. I think we went through 10, maybe even more, you know, without placing. And there will be times when you'll just be like, what am I doing this for if we're not getting anything out of it? But you will. The third piece of advice would be to have some sort of direction. You know, do you want to be a very folk team? Do you want to do a mixture of both? Like, do you want to be a stunt team? To always know that is another thing which always helps you out. And then my last piece of advice to new teams starting up: make sure you have someone who can lead you towards the direction of executing moves to the best of your guys' ability. In the future, or like coming up for PANJ, we're actually just going to split up the teams again and go all boys and all girls. If you've kind of noticed in the past, we kind of just go back and forth with that. It just keeps things going. It keeps things interesting. Sometimes, like, you know, the guys and girls have had enough of each other and like, you know what, we want to do our own thing. And then you kind of get bored of doing your own thing, and then you want to come back together and then have that co-ed run again. I'm just excited to see so many girls off of so many different teams and so many styles come together on that stage. Totally looking forward to it. Like, it's a hard task for anyone, be it a guys team, live team, whatever it is, just to have all those dancers come through. But like, I know most of the dancers are like absolutely talented, and I can't wait to see what you girls bring to that stage at VPD. My advice is to just make sure you girls meet in the middle with all of your styles, because I know everyone kind of dances very different, and I don't think that that should be like an issue, just because everyone is so experienced who's a part of this. I'm actually excited for us to start like a West Coast alliance, just because I love the idea. Like, you know, whoever came up with it, great idea, great concept, and it's just kind of showing everyone that, you know what, girls can come together. Like, it's not all drama, it's not all cattiness, and we can come together and you know, put on this like great performance. And all power to you guys. I know the competition's coming up next weekend, and I hope you girls kick ass.